Hey, good afternoon. Let me getting myself a little organized, running a little late. Had company this morning, so I've got all my pieces cut out here. We're going to make our border blocks. I've got the center to my quilt done and the outer border put on it. So if that is the Circle of Geese pattern, 48 by 48 finished. And I even have my center applique on. And this is how we're going to finish the big quilt. It will be a queen size quilt. Hey Denise. This is how we're going to finish it. It comes out to, oh my gosh, I think it's around 100 by 116, something like that. I don't think I have that written down here. But anyway, we're going to work on the first border, this inner border here today. Don't know if I'll get it all done, but we'll sure work on it. I've got everything cut for it. So I was putting my pieces together here in order. You know how I like to do that. Let's see, that's number 2. Yeah. Go from bottom to the top. I should know that by now. 1, 5, or 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I will double check before I sew. That's part B. And then I have C and D. This is C. I know this is number 4. Number 3. This one was really easy to cut for. 3, 2, and 1. This is how I usually, if you've watched me very long, this is how I normally do it. And this is 3, 2, 1. Okay, part D. Put that over there. Let's start with part A. And just to make sure I have it printed out here, this is my block, the whole thing. This square right here is part A, this is part B, this is part C, and this is part D. And I have my little notes for which fabric. When I was cutting, the pattern has that on it now. So, let's see. Number 1 is fabric C. We're going to start, put our wrong side facing up, and we're going to put the foundation on top. Let's see, where's number 2? And a couple of these are going to look like they're way too extra big. I did that so all the pieces were cut the same width, and it's all incremental. This is basically a log cabin here, and just to make the cutting easier, instead of doing 2 by 2 and 2 1/4, I just did them all 2 1/4. So it makes it just, and 1/4 of an inch isn't gonna make or break us, I hope. So put a pin back there. If you're new here, this is our leave-in foundations. This is our Roman tile block, part A. These are our leave-in foundations. So we're going to start with our first piece, wrong side facing up, and put our foundation on top. When it's like this, you want to be able to read the printing. I think I am gonna sell the border package separate because so many people have already bought the geese, and instead of doing, you know, doubling it, making you buy double, I am going to, because I think that this border would look great on any 48-inch medallion in the middle. So I am going to offer it that way. So yes, it will be available. And because I didn't get it done in time for the sale, when it does come on, I am going to put it on sale. So make sure you stay tuned so you can get the code for it. But yeah, anyway. So yes, you can. Okay, so make sure you have your foundation on top of the wrong side of your fabric. This is the side you work on. It says stitch with this side facing up, the fabric underneath. So this is the right side of your foundations. You're looking through it to the wrong side of your fabrics. But the right side of the foundation is the side that you're always going to work on. You're going to sew on this side and you're going to trim on this side. So let's get going here. We've got our first piece placed. We set it. This is space 1. This is space 2. This is the line where we're going to stitch number 2 on. I set it so I have my 1/4 inch seam allowance going past the line. So when I turn this over, I know right where to set piece number 2. And you want to put right sides together. This one, it's got a little gold metallic to it. So got to make sure I put it right side out. And then we're just going to turn it over and we're going to sew on the line between space 1 and 2. Use a regular stitch length. You're going to leave this foundation in. So you can just use a regular stitch length. You don't have to perforate it like you do paper. And you don't need to back stitch because you're going to have another seam crossing over that seam, and that will hold it in place. When we get out to the end where there's no more seams crossing it, we run our stitching all the way out to the broken line, so nothing will come apart on you. Don't be afraid. And I just use the same stitch length that I use for traditional piecing. Take that pin out. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. Number 3 is over here. This is the line where we're going to sew it on. And like I said, this part A is just a log cabin block. Amazing what you could do with log cabins. And piece number 3. Turn that over and sew on the line. Oh, you did finish Everett's star. I love that quilt, and I love Everett. And I think your fabric kit is in the mail for this month. I should dump my thread bag there. Okay, so after we stitch it, we're going to press it open. Somebody asked me on here a week or 2 ago, what do you mean when you say open? I don't know where that came from. It's just when I fold it, fold it open. I guess that's where that came from. I don't know. Oh, I miss him so much. I get to Skype with Benjamin a lot. Although, both boys are at that age where, Skype with Grandma. They'll come and say hello, I love you. And, it's like pulling teeth to get a conversation out of them. Except when you're there in person, they don't quit talking. So, yeah, anyway. I guess typical grandkids. Okay, so now we're going to add number 4 right here. This is where we're going to sew it on. So in case you're new, I hate repetition for those who watch regularly, but for those who are new, I don't want you to get lost here. So bear with me. We're going to add piece number 4 next. This is where we're going to sew it on. So we're going to put our straight edge even with the line where we're going to sew and fold it back. I like to just barely be able to see the line there at the edge of my straight edge. Fold your foundation back. You never want to cut your foundation. And then we strongly recommend the add a quarter ruler. If you're not familiar with it, it's a ruler with a little lip that goes 1/4 of an inch. So then you put it on your straight edge. It just hooks on there. And then you trim the little bit of extra fabric away. So now there's your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So when you fold this back open, there's your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you turn it over and you know right where to put your next piece. And this is a piece of background fabric. And remember my little trick, match your edges and then put the light colored piece just a few threads forward. I'm going to start putting a pin in this. It just makes it a little easier to get to the machine. And then we're going to stitch on that line. Thank you. This border would be beautiful if you did a panel. If you had a panel, and it doesn't have to be a 48 by 48. If you want to figure out the difference in length of your borders, I mean, that's all it is. And if I remember, I will put a little page in the pattern when we do the border separate. I'll put a page in there on how to figure out your lengths or whatever. But this block, the corner block here that I'm doing, it's an oddball size. It finishes at 9 1/4 inches. And the other one, this one, the tile one, these are based on tile floors I saw in Italy. I think I was talking about that a few days ago, and dug the pictures out and decided to do something with them. So this mosaic tile is all the way across here. You just do this one and then flip it upside down and reverse and do that all the way across. There's 8 of them across. So there's 16 of those blocks in the package, and those finish at 9 1/4. The outside block finishes at 10 1/2 inches. So they're kind of oddball sizes, but it all works together. So, and I think that I should put a chart in so that if you want to do a panel, I'll look around here and see if I know I have a ton of panels. I'll see what I can come up with and maybe do a demo on that. How to make this border fit anything, because I think it's a gorgeous panel. So anyway, there we go. Okay, number 5 is next. This is where we're going to sew it on. See, now talking out loud, I know I have a whole bin of panels I've collected over the years, thinking, oh, I want to make one of those, and I don't. It's hard for me to make quilts that then I can't. I can make the pattern, but I'm always asked, do you have the kit? And when we first started, Bob said, what do you need to kit them for? And then when the customer, he went to the quilt shows with me, and people were asking, do you have a kit for that? Do you have a kit for that? He came to me and he said, I apologize. Don't make a quilt to show in a show unless you have a kit for it. So I do try to do that, but sometimes I can't. So that's why I haven't made the panel quilts. And I'm not one who likes to just like do the panel and do a border and, you know, plain old border. That's just not me. I did have, I don't think I've shown it. I think it's up at the house. I did get a panel, a set, years and years ago. A little bunny rabbits in a field of flowers. It is real cute. And I made that one up using some of my flower blocks that you've never seen because I've never produced them for sale. That was number 5. Number 6 is up here. To show, you know, there was a big main panel, and then there was, I think, about 6 small panels. And so I did a layout and interspersed my flower blocks. And I don't remember what else. And it was really cute. I get it out. It's very springy. I get it out for Easter. Okay, number 6 goes right here. And yeah, when we went to Italy years ago, my camera was aimed at the floor a lot. Bob thought I was crazy till I explained to him that looking at the floors and all these ancient buildings was giving me ideas for quilt blocks. And I knew they'd come in handy. Oops. I think I'm going to switch to, the outer quarter does come, we carry it in 6-inch and 12-inch. They do make an 18-inch, but I have never had a call to use the 18-inch, but they do make it. So I put my number 7. Oh, we're doing the outer edges of this block. So the last 4 pieces are all the same color. You know, when I get moved into my office, I will have better access to all my quilts, and I would love to do a show and tell. And you can see how things have evolved. I think this is going to look a little weird till it actually all gets put, the color placement's going to look a little weird till it all gets put together and attached to the border. This is really a neat fabric. I mean, it's nice to work with. Yeah, you know, sometimes it is so hard, talking about the fabric kits, it's so hard. In my head, I'll see what I think the final product is going to look like, or project is going to look like. Sometimes it doesn't turn out that way, and I'm always hesitant to buy the big quantities that it requires to make the kits and then have it not turn out. I have done that a couple of times, and I am sitting on these fabrics trying to figure out, oh goodness, what am I going to do with them? And so it's always really hard for me to do that. And another problem is when you order stuff that is not a staple of a fabric company, like Ruby Star. This is a line that they keep producing over and over again. Same with the shadow play that we used in the Stars of the Family. I use shadow play in quite a few. I have a new one coming out using the gelato from Maywood Studios. And that's when they keep, that they keep producing over and over. But when you order fabrics that are like a one-time production, now the fabric companies are even getting to the point where you have to pre-order them, and then they do a little bit of extra. So if you don't pre-order it, chances are you might not get it at all. And if you do get it, you're going to have to buy all your quantities at one time. You don't have time to order like a bolt of each, make your sample and, okay, I like it, and then order more, because by the time you go back to order it, it's gone. You can't get it. So they really are making it difficult for now a fabric shop. A totally different story, but we like to carry the same fabric kits over a period of time, and these fabrics do tend to show off the design more than we're not focused on making a design around the fabric. The fabric's focused on our design, if that makes sense to you. So it's a real ticklish area. We're not, I don't have a brick and mortar store where people come in and buy my fabrics. If I don't take them to a show, I don't sell them unless they're in a kit. So for us, it's a little more difficult, but we're getting there, and I am I don't know. I have to kind of do my designs. Oh, and I do carry a lot of the grunge from Moda. when I first started out, I used a lot of Moda marbles, but over the years they've discontinued so many of their colors. They were up to like 400 and some colors at the peak, and now they're down. I don't know if they even have 100. So I had to convert some of my designs from Moda marbles to shadow play or to grunge, and like our Dahlia Magic started with Moda marbles, and after about 2 years it has 8 colors in it plus a background, and after 2 years 4 of the colors were discontinued. So I took the quilt to Maywood Studios, and at the time I didn't have the color swatches of all their colors, but I went to the warehouse with the quilt in hand and matched it. So we've been able to continue that one. And I do Hoffman Fabrics has a line of their boutiques, 1895s is the line, and they've been producing those for years. They do add, and occasionally they do discontinue a color, but they've been pretty darn regular or dependable to get the same. And they have a few other fabrics that they keep, that they reproduce. So that's kind of where we are. I know my witches one is started with Moda marbles, and I'm trying to think. Oh, I had I can get most all the colors. It's the witches collars and the binding that keeps changing. The rest of it stays the same. Okay, now that we've got this one fully covered, and I stitched it down because all the sides were not, none of the sides were attached to the foundation. So now we're going to trim around the outside edge 1/4 inch from the solid line. And when I laid this out yesterday or day before, whatever day it was, I was pretty adamant about keeping the broken line 1/4 inch. But I still recommend that you trim it with your ruler 1/4 inch from the solid line, because that's your sewing line. Well, when everything gets settled around here, I will show you my fabric room. Right now, it is so packed. I got deliveries this week of a couple deliveries of fabric, and it's stacked up out here. So I can hardly get around, can't get to my cutting table. I have a 9, 10, 11 foot long cutting table, and there's more cover, more of it is covered than not. Let's put it that way. And I'll have to share with you. I did get some cute charm packs for Halloween and fall. We're gonna do. I think we're gonna do the. Oh, I got the pattern out yesterday. It's an old pattern that I just keep updating with new fabrics, seasonal fabrics mostly. It's a table runner. It's a split rail table runner. I think we'll do that, only we're not going to do it with a pointed end. It's going to have it's just going to be a rectangle. Make it super, super simple to do. A real super quick project. So I will share those fabrics with you on Tuesday. Hopefully, might even have the quilt done. But those just came in yesterday, so those stacks are sitting on my table. Okay, so part A is done. And let's see, well, it depends on which corner. It'll go like this. I'm going to put it over here. Now part B, they're all labeled. Let's see, part C, part B right here. And again, I stacked my pieces in order. I hope I did them right. Where's my master here? Yep. No. Okay, this block here is that part right there. So we got that one right. And now I'm going to make this part. So if you're ever confused like me, it's going to go like this. The back side, the wrong side, is a side that will be the right side of your fabrics. The wrong side of the foundation, because remember, we work on the right side with the fabrics on the back side of the foundation. So when you flip it over, that would be your right side of your fabrics. And I want it to be like this. The pink and that. See, I'm following this one up here. And then, of course, this is right. Oh, I had it. And then 4, 5. Oh, I got 2 pieces here. 4, 5, and 6. That puts it right up. This is the same as this. So if you're ever confused in a pattern, like if it says make 6 blocks that look like this, what you're seeing on the paper, on the page, is the right side of the block. That's the way you want it to finish. So if you're confused about if you're doing your own colors and you're confused about how they should be laid out, just set your foundation there with the wrong side of your foundation facing up. Lay your colors out the way you want them, and then you'll have them in order. So now I know 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now, if I did that right, if I told you right, it will be right. Okay, number 1, wrong side facing up. We start every block the same way. So, you're going to get sick of hearing this. Put the foundation on top. Right side, you want to stitch with this side facing up, fabric underneath. That's what it says over there. 1/4 inch going into space number 2. And on this one, instead of just pinning it, I'm going to set it the way I want it. And I'm going to run a line of stitching out in the seam allowance to hold it in place. I'm either going to do it before I start stitching or after, because see, this whole corner would not be attached to the foundation. And you don't want to run the risk of distorting your block when you're sewing it to another block or border or whatever. So now that's ready. We'll turn it over and put fabric piece number 2, right sides together. And stitch that down. And before I go any further, oh well, let me press it open first. This is the way it's gonna go. So I got it going right. Okay, that makes me feel better. You guys are getting to see what I go through when I design something. And there's not a lot to trim. Number 3. Before we go today, I am going to do the borders, the border, whatever that this attaches to. As you can see, it'll make these color, the color placement make more sense, I hope. Yes, we have a printing facility, and I design them, and then we get the plain foundation we have made for us. We get great big huge rolls, and then we print them. So that's why we never run out of patterns, because we can always print more. And I just got an email from another person who... Now, you know what? I did something really stupid here. On this one, you're going to sew piece 4 and 5 together. I was supposed to separate that. Just going to sew these 2 together. I have a braid border. What's it called? It's a form of braid border where you have the square on point where the 2 braids come together. We do the same thing on that one, as I'm going to show you here. Press the seam open, and then this is 4 and 5. Got to make sure I get 4 and 5. Yeah, pink's got to be on the pink side. You line your seam line here up with this line down the middle. Just like that. Otherwise, we would have had to make another this would have been 2 separate blocks. And then we'll press that open. And you just want to make sure that your seam line follows the line down here. Just like that. And then we're going to trim like normal. You mean in the border package? Yes, I will. And because we're doing on the outer corners, there's this border here, and this is the block we're making. This is the same block up here, but the colors are different. And there's a couple other ways you can do colors. If I'm doing the block package separate, I will put in different alternatives for you for color placement. And we'll do this one. And I will also put in a black and white, just showing, you know, where the stitching lines are, a plain one, so you can make copies of that and color it in however you want. Okay, now I'm going to run my line of stitching to hold this all together. And I really don't need to do here, but I do across the bottom, so instead of stopping and starting and all that, and having to trim more threads, I just run it all the way around, at least across the bottom here. And there, everything is all tied together now. And now we're gonna trim a 1/4 inch from the solid line. Finally have some perfect weather again. Finally. It's been it's been hot, but today we have a nice little breeze. It's beautiful. Okay, so this is part B, and I am going to join it to part A, just like that. You see the blue, it looks, they look like they're woven together. So well, sorry, I forget. Camera's between my face and my hands. Okay, there's nothing to match on this one. That's really nice. Just the corners. Because you do have, when you open this up, you're going to add across the bottom, so it's nice if your seam lines are all lined up. Okay, there we go. And we will stitch this together. Whoops. Yes, they're all 4 done the exact same way. You just turn, as you go around the quilt, you'll turn it 90 degrees. So they're all made, all 4 are made identical. Okay, oh, look at that. Yes. And yes, I do press most of my seams open. This one could be pressed this direction because there's only one seam here, but I think it lays very nice. And when you have the foundation, you have the extra support. Ooh, cool. You have the extra support, so it's not so much stress on just your fabrics. The foundation will hold your seam together well. Okay, I think this is part C. Part C. And let's see, this one, I have to remember which way this one's going to go. This is, gotta, it goes like this. That's why the colors didn't make sense. I do believe, I know, where's my master? Okay, so it's going to go here. This is the wrong side. That's why things looked funny. So it's going to go like this. I know this piece is going here. This piece is going here. So the pink one, I had them right. That's going to go like, whoops, like that. Yep. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1. Start again, put the right side facing up. And I'm going to set this is the wrong side of the fabric. I'm going to set my foundation on top. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to add piece number 2 first. You're hearing me talk to myself. Okay, we want it, so we've got about a quarter of an inch going past the line between space 1 and space 2. And because it's going around the corner here, I'm going to stitch it down. You say I either stitch it now or stitch it after. So I might as well do it now. And if you've watched me very long, you know I hate threads. That's why I take a little extra minute to clip them as I go. Okay, fabric number 2. This is the right side of fabric number 1. We're going to put right side of fabric number 2 even with it, where it goes the quarter inch into space number 2. And you certainly, until you're confident with flipping it over, I would recommend pinning to get it to the machine. I was telling my husband this morning, I was showing him, and I said, since all 4 of these blocks are made identical, I think I would probably recommend like do all 4 part A's at once, and so forth. I think not only would it go faster, but it would make more sense. But I want to put one complete one together for you here today. And I do want to get one border strip at least done. Actually, I'd like to get 2 of these blocks done and 1 border strip done. So you can see the complete side. Because what you're going to do is you're going to make this border strip, you're going to make 4. Let me cover. You're going to make 4 sections like this with the 4 pieces. You'll make 4 of those. They will finish at 48 inches long. They're 10.5 inches wide. So you'll make 4 of those, and to start with, you'll join one just the border strip, top and bottom, or you can do the 2 sides. It doesn't matter. The other 2 strips will add the corner blocks to, and then sew it all on. So you'll have everything inside this light pink border. If you can see the light pink stripe right there. That'll be the first finished round, I guess you'd call it. Usually on a medallion quilt you do rounds. So, but I love the way that came out. I didn't realize 48 inches was that big. I could get back here and get the whole thing in it, pretty much so. But that was really a lot of fun. I know it looks like a load of geese, but they went pretty fast. And of course, you just do. I preferred to do the wedges. Well, I did like all of the first inner circle, and then I did all the second ones, and I attached second one to the first one. So I had all 12 wedges already started, and then did the section with the 3 flying geese, did all 12 of those, and attached it. So it was just at the end you saw me kind of work a little out of order, but it made it go together really well. I'm really pleased with it. And Laura is making one, the same pattern, but I had her do it. All the background and the background corners are all a CAF print. Then we pulled 5 colors from the print. So the flying geese are the print, but the background is the print, and the flying geese, I think, it might be the other way around. I don't remember. I haven't looked at it. I think the geese are the 5 different colors, and the background is all the print, the same print. I know she had part of it done when I was there, and it looked really good. Very striking. Okay, fabric number 3. Oh, and don't forget our sale is going on until midnight tonight, West Coast time. 20% off all patterns, blocks, and refills. It ends tonight at midnight. Is today really the 25th? Oh my goodness. 4 days, right? Sunday, Monday, Wednesday is a pretty special day around here. Bob and I will be celebrating 54 years. I can't believe, I don't feel 54 years old. How can I be married that long? He robbed the cradle. Yeah. Thank you. I know, where has July gone? Oh, how many hours a day do I sew? Some days I don't get to sew at all. I would say most days I sew. I'm trying to think of a normal day. I sew anywhere from 4 to 8 hours probably. But like I say, there are days here and there where I don't sew at all. But we try not to have too many of those days because I get cranky if I can't sew. We have a joke around here. I think I told you when we first got married, and Bob raced motorcycles when I met him, and did a lot of off-road riding. And when he would start to get a little cranky or hard to live with when we were first married, I would tell him, would you call your buddies and make plans to go riding so I can stand you again? and it worked every time. He'd be just so happy. And it's the same way with me. It's always been that way with me sewing. When I get to be a little cranky and hard to live with, he'll say, okay, hon, why don't you just go sew for a while? Brings you back down to earth, calms you down, makes you happy. So that's what we do. I'm going to stitch this. These parts go really fast. And I'll tell you, this morning the cutting went really fast because everything is the same size. So it was like cut strips, 2 1/4 inch by width of fabric strips, and then fold it over so you got 4 layers of fabric, and cut once, and there's for all four corners. So it did go super, super fast. And that's always that. I love it when cutting goes fast because I hate cutting. That's why I was never a real happy quilter, traditional piecing, because I had to be so careful, and I was always so nervous cutting. Even though I'd done it so much, it was my least favorite part of quilting. I even prefer sewing binding down than cutting. And with this, it's always so much fun because you try to figure out how you can do it a little faster, because the accuracy is not nearly as important. Okay, so here's part C, and it's going to go right there. And I have part D over here, and I just want to double check because it's going to sit like this. So I know my blue one, that's going to be right where it is. I got them in order, and this is 2, and this is 1. Perfect. Oh, this is going to be cool. Do you guys ever get kind of almost, the only word that came to mind to me the other day when I was finishing up the flying geese was, I kind of get a little giddy when I'm close to the end of either the whole project or a part of the project. I don't know another word for it, but I was excited to be seeing it come together. This block is called Italian Tile. And I'm trying to remember where it was that I derived this from. It was in the corner. I'm trying to think. I think it was at the Vatican. I'm thinking it was in the room. I could be wrong, but in the room. Oh, my son would remember, Donald would remember much better than I. Your least favorite block is squaring up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can remember having, and then it didn't look right. The only thing I can, the room in the Vatican is where the great big, oh, what was the, it's a stone that's extremely rare that they made the big, like a gorging I don't remember. Was that the Vatican? I don't remember. But I do remember taking pictures of the floor, the tile on the floor, and I think this was the design. I think that's where I got this from. I think I need to add some water to the iron. Oh, you guys, the last piece. I get to put it all together. Fold that back. Don't cut your foundation. Now, what I do suggest if you're new here, or even if you're not new and I haven't mentioned it before, is when you get a pattern, look at your foundations before you cut them all apart and look for any places that might have a good size of blank foundation, you know, between blocks or whatever. I know on this one there's quite a good size hunk of blank. It's pre-shrunk, so you can use it and it's not going to shrink. But if you should cut your foundation or you should melt the foundation, use that blank to either, you know, a part of the blank foundation that's in there, use it to repair your foundation. And you can either stitch it, you can use a temporary glue base, which is what I recommend. If you should melt, like go to press it and you melted part of this, you've got the other blocks, take the plane, put it on the back side and draw on the plane to recover what you melted, and then just cut the melted part off, put this traced part on, and away you go. So if I were you, if you do many of our patterns, I would just make a little drawer or a little something to stash your blank foundations in. So if you ever do have a problem, you can, I guess I'll stitch all the way around here. You can repair it. And obviously if you melt it or something beyond repair, you can't figure out any way to repair it, just drop me a message, deb@easypiecing.com. Tell me what block it is, what size it is. Tell me what you did to it. That's just to cure my curiosity. And send me your mailing address and I will send you a block at no charge. It will come via first class mail. I can't afford to do it for nothing and send it at shipping charges with a tracking number. But when I do a seminar at the Rusty Barn shows, I tell people that, and I say, just don't do this too often because I will get suspicious. And you know, in all these years, I've only had one or two people ever tell me they ruined it beyond repair. So you can also use a piece of the blank foundation to test your iron. Once you find the temperature that works the best, just remember that setting and you should be good. I always do recommend just swiping your iron on the ironing mat ever so slightly before you put it on your fabric. Make sure that the heat is even over the plate of the iron, and you shouldn't have any problems. I use a medium steam setting on my iron. And I know a lot of quilters don't like to use steam, and that's really, it's your personal preference. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so this is how this is going to go. So we'll sew these two together. I like to match the corners where the two solid lines come together, because that's when you sew these together, it's going to be continuation of the seam line for the complete block. So you want those to match. Boy, my look at that. Can you see the stitching? I'm still having trouble with this tension. I'm just not real pleased. I thought I had figured it out. Of course, that's just on one layer of fabric, and it does make a difference. And I am getting down to the end of the bobbin, and it always goes wonky. Okay, let's trim those threads. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Ours has been, so far today, kind of lazy. I did get up really early, but lounged around, had a couple cups of coffee, watched the sprinklers run on the lawn. Got a little time with my cats. Okay, that's how it's going to go together. I like this very much. I call this complete pattern, with the geese in the middle, when I do the complete pattern, I'm calling it it's not Italian geese. Is it geese in Italy or something like that? I don't know. I'm not very good at coming up with names for these quilts. I think that's the only thing we have to match. That makes this one even more fun to put together. All nice and square. And I'm going to sew on this side. Well, I got a seam on both sides, so. Okay, let's get this thing done. Oh, did you try to sew the centers all together? Because I think I say in the instructions to sew in as far as your machine will let you, and then turn and do it from the outside edge into the center on the other half. I am going to revise those blocks so it's like the center of this, that you will have a little hole in the middle, so you don't have the problem of trying to get it all together. think that would alleviate a lot of problems. And I'm thinking about doing it in a new colorway too, so I might just do that all at one time. This block is easier than it looks. It's really easy. Once you know where your colors are supposed to be, huh? Awesome. See that, like this would be the top left corner, and then when you go down the side, it'll just go like this, and then across on the other corner, it'll turn like that. So yes, you use the same identical block 4 times. So now what I'm going to do is, I want to check this perfect. I've got my pieces cut to do the border. So what I need to do, because it's 48 inches long, I need to sew these strips together, and I'm going to sew enough to do, actually, what I'll do is I'll just sew 2 together, because you're going to cut 5 strips, and that 5th strip is enough to make all 4. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I do this. I put right sides together at a 90-degree angle. And then I mark, whoops, that one's not going to show up. I turn this to go from corner to corner, and it's top right down to bottom left, and do my 45-degree mark. Put a pin in it or 2, and then I'm going to sew that line. Oops, I lost. And I'd look too. Forgot. Okay, let me pin this back together. I don't know if the line shows up on the camera or not. I can't tell. Let me drop a new bobbin in. So I haven't talked to Donald in a couple of days. I was obviously messaging him every day, wanting to know how he was doing. And of course, giving that mom advice. And just the mom thing you do, you know. I know Laura takes good care of him, so just don't want him to think mom doesn't care. Okay, then where's my fabric scissors? I used to just do straight across seams when I needed to have a longer, longer than 45 inches or 44. But I just like these better on an angle. And I didn't realize when I cut this fabric that it was so wrinkled, so now I gotta retrim it. So I'm going to do this with all 4 strips. And then I'm going to cut it just, when I sew them together, I'm going to cut them just a tad bit longer. I need them to finish, I need them to be at 40, oh, that's the other one, 48.5. So I'll probably cut them about 50 inches long because there will be extra fabric. And then after I get all 4 pieces sewn together, then I'll cut it down to the 48 inch or 48.5 inches. Okay, and then I know if you make jelly roll rugs, you get real good at doing the diagonal seam. But I'm not, so I mark them, even these little short pieces. And this is how I join my strips for my binding. It spreads the bulk out. Whoops. And I just put a new needle in my machine on Wednesday or Friday. When you asked me, Denise, when you asked me how much, is that what I was gonna, oh my gosh, how much I sew, that wasn't it. I forget what I was gonna tell you. Oh yeah, when you ask me how much I sew, I have friends who still ask me if I could make them a quilt, and it's like, I can't get my business quilts done. I don't get to make anything for fun. Okay, so that's the next one. Let's see, we got 2 blues to sew together. Boy, these just came right off the boat this morning, and they're terribly wrinkled. That's not good. But if you saw how many finished quilts I have stacked up over there that need to go on the long arm. And I had told myself I wasn't going to the quilt shows this fall without all my quilts being quilted. That's a joke. This has a really big selvage, this fabric. Which is why I'm not going all the way out to the edge. I don't know if this blue is gonna... Beautiful. Speaking of jelly roll rug and not being able to sew for myself, I started a jelly roll rug. When did I start that? In the spring. And I've got, I think I have them all sewn together. I think I actually started sewing sewing them folded to make the strips ready to turn into a rug. Only I think I was gonna do, I don't know. I don't remember if I was gonna do placemats or a rug. I did do some gorgeous placemats for 4th of July using the jelly roll strips, but I didn't wind, I didn't do like this. I just did them in strips. I did half strips. I guess that's what you'd call them. Make it 18 inches, whatever that came out to. I think I used half, then trimmed it down. But it was a jelly roll of some really pretty patriotic fabrics. And they came, and then I curved the corners and did bias binding. Oh, they're beautiful. Again, they're up at the house. Now, I should share them. Give you ideas. Sometimes, and one jelly roll makes 4 placemats. And of course, you don't have to back them or anything. You sew those strips together, and then put the binding on, and that's it. Okay, so now I have all my long strips done, so I'm going to cut them down to about 50 inches. Let me put my cutting mat up here. These are the other halves. Let me press this open. See, then it just really does, and it doesn't make the seam obvious. How are we doing on time today? Oh, good. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to fold this. Fold it like this. And I'm going to add just a little bit more. And then I'll use it for measuring my other pieces. Where did I screw that to? Okay. And then we'll save this to add to my other piece there. And then I'm going to let me fold it, make sure I got plenty. Okay, now what's my next strip? Blue. Oops. And then I think I'll just, instead of sewing it, I'll just sew it down to the bottom of the beige one because I know that's the right length. Save a little time here. And move my needle over to 1/4 inch. Whoops, wrong dial. One more notch, there we go. Okay, let's sew these together. Right off the bat, I don't have, there we go. We want this to be, this is me with traditional piecing. No, my long arm is not computerized. And that was for a specific reason. When I got it, I was still doing a little bit of art quilting, and I did not want the computer, number one, because I knew I would never learn to free motion on it if I had a computer, because I know me. So it has forced me to learn to self-guide it. I feel very confident doing pantographs. I'm still struggling or working with ruler work. Straight line with rulers, no problem. And I'm not sure that I think I could do great ruler work. It's just that the more I delve into it and learn about it, the more I realize I have to mark a lot more on my quilts, which is fine. It's the time, and I probably could spend less time in the garden and do more. I haven't scheduled quilt shows for next year after January. Not sure what. Oh yeah, I do. I have one scheduled the end of January and the first week of March in Virginia. And I will be teaching there. But after that, I'm not sure what shows I want to do. I don't know if I want to do new shows, if I want to do ones closer to home. I'm just not real sure yet. And I have to see how the shows go this fall as far as me doing them virtually. Bob's going with me, but I don't think he will be much help. He'll be company, but I have to see how I can do on my own. And then we'll see if Laura's going to be able to join me on some. So we've got a little time yet. So, okay, let's get this cutting mat out of the way. And then I think the next strip is the background fabric, and then the next strip is the dark for the outside edge. You know, for as complicated as this quilt looks, I think it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so the next one, start with the selvage. So we're going to be cutting it off. So I think finally the sheetrock is going in the office tomorrow. When I do for the other, I'm doing one border here and I've got the rest cut over there, but for the opposite one, but when I do the other two, I'll sew them all in one length and then just cut them to size. But I didn't want to have you sit here and watch me do all this straight stitching. And before I do, this is gonna go, oh wow, we don't have, oh yeah, we do. It's gonna go like, is that it? Did I do what I measured wrong? Oh, you guys, I measured wrong. I'm off 1.25 inches. I knew when I cut, oh, I used the wrong one. Anyway, this is going to go like this. Going to take this out. I think I cut this twice. I cut two different sizes strips, and I think I sewed the wrong one together. Anyway, it'll go like this. This will meet here, and then the dark strip will come down here. This will go all the way out to the edge over there. So I'm going to take this apart, the blue off of this one, and get the right strip I cut, and get all of this done. And on Tuesday, I hope to just do the last couple of the other blocks, show you how those go together, and this thing will be done. So, got this one done, and it really did go together easily. So, and it is called, I will be putting these blocks on, I'll probably, oh no, I can't do that. I will, I'll do the whole border thing. I don't know that I want to put these blocks on separately unless we come up with a design for using them, which could really work out well. But anyway, yes, I will. When I finish this pattern, writing the pattern and publishing it, then I will do a separate one of just all the border stuff, and hopefully get that done this next week. And I will put both on sale. So since I didn't get them done before our sale goes off tonight, when we put these on, and I'll give you the code, and I'll make sure Laura gives you the code and has some pictures to show to remind you. And I think that's it. I think we'll cut it a little short today. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I really do thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, send me a message, Deb@EasyPiecing, and I think that's it. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you on Tuesday. Remember, Laura is on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, 10 to noon Eastern time. I think if I'm right, 7 to 9 our time on the West Coast. I'm on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from noon to 2 Pacific time. So hope one of those times works for you. Join us when you can. All of these videos will be in the library on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and refer to them at any time. And yep, that's it. Have a great weekend, and thanks for joining me. See you Tuesday. Bye.